Many years ago, in a small village called Ravenshire, there lived a farmer named William. He was one of the hardest working farmers in the village, but he had a different habit. He always liked to be alone. When the rest of the village spent time with their families and friends, William would quietly work in his fields or sit by the river and think. The villagers would often taunt him, "William, why are you always alone? Don't you like talking to others?" William would smile and reply, "Loneliness gives me time to understand myself and strengthen my ideas." But people did not understand him. They thought that this nature of William would make him weak in life. William had a small farm, which he developed on his own. His parents died when he was a child, so he always learned to live alone. He would plow his fields, grow crops, and go to the city to sell them without anyone's help. One day, a terrible storm hit the village. Heavy rain and thunderstorm destroyed many of the village's farms. William's farm was also completely destroyed. The rest of the village farmers gathered and started thinking of solutions. They were helping each other, but William was alone, as always. The villagers taunted him again. "Now see, William, the result of being alone. If you two had worked together like us, today you would have people to help you." But William did not give up. He touched the soil of his farm and said to himself, "If this farm is mine, then it is also my duty to rebuild it." For the next few days, William worked tirelessly to rebuild his farm. He tilled the soil all day, planted seeds, and planned his future at night. The villagers were shocked to see him. They were thinking that William would probably give up, but he was getting back up without any help. Some farmers made fun of him, but some started seeing a different kind of strength in him. An old farmer, Edward, said, "William is not alone. He has his hard work, confidence, and patience with him." Gradually, the weather changed. The rain decreased, and the sunlight started shining in the fields. William's crop grew again, and this time even better than before. When the time came to harvest, William's hard work paid off. His crop was the best in the entire village. People were surprised. How can a single man achieve such great success? Then William gathered the villagers and said, "Living alone does not mean that I am weak. It means that I have known myself, recognized my strength. When you are alone, you do not have to worry about the opinions of others. You recognize your true potential." The villagers understood for the first time that William was not a lunatic, but a person who had recognized the power of living alone. A few months later, there was a big famine in the village. This time, many farmers did not have grain, but William had already prepared for this. He had saved a part of his crop. When the rest of the farmers needed food, the same people who used to taunt him thinking he was lonely now came to him asking for help. William happily helped everyone, but also gave a lesson. If you learn to understand yourself, learn to live alone, then you can face any crisis. Now, the villagers started looking at him differently. They realized what is the power of living alone. Gradually, some of the youth of the village also started following William's path. They started sitting alone and thinking, trying to improve themselves, and started moving on the path of becoming self-reliant. One day, a young man, Thomas, asked William, "Doesn't living alone ever scare you?" William smiled and replied, "Fear is felt only by a person who does not know himself. When you are alone, you get a chance to understand yourself. And when you understand yourself, no power in the world can scare you." William had now become the most respected person in the village. What he learned by living alone, he was now teaching others as well. He showed that living alone is not a weakness, but a strength. The people of the village now looked at him differently. They had understood that the person who knows himself by living alone is the strongest. From this story, we get to learn that loneliness is not a curse, but a blessing. When we are alone, we get an opportunity to understand ourselves. We can think deeply about our thoughts, improve ourselves, and face any difficulty. If you want success in life, then understand the power of being alone and make it your greatest strength.